Hello students, welcome to Social Science online classes. In this session, we shall continue with the second chapter of history, that is medieval India and political transition. In this session, we shall discuss the contribution of Rajput kings to literature, art and architecture, and we shall also discuss the arrival of Turks. Now let's discuss in detail the contribution of Rajputs. The Rajputs encouraged art, culture and religion liberty. Rajput kings themselves were scholars. Kings like Bhoja Munja have written various literary works. King Munja had poets named Padmagupta and Halayuddha in his court. King Bhoja had extended his royal patronage, that is support, to the Jain scholars. The Jain scholars like Shantisena, Prabhachandra Suri and Ganapala were in his court during his rule. Some of the famous literary works during the time of Rajputs were Jayadeva's Gita Govinda, Bhairavi's Kirtanurjaneya, and Bharataruhari's Ravanavada, Mahendrapala's Kavya Mimase, Rajashekara's Bala Ramayana, Karpura Manjari, and Bhavabhuti's Mahavira Charita and Uttara Ramacharita, Kalhana's Rajatarangini, Jayanika's Prithviraja Vijaya, and Henraj Kumarapala Charita and Prithviraja Raso by Chand Bardhai, Bhoja Prabandha by Ballala were the famous literary works. Gujarati, Rajasthani and Hindi languages developed during this period. And apart from the support and the contribution towards the literary works, the Rajput kings also built the educational institutions of Nalanda, Kashi and Vikramashaila. Ujjaini received support from Rajputs. The Rajput kings constructed spacious forts in Chittor, Mandu, Ranthambore, Jodhpur and Gwalior of North India. This is the Ranthambore fort, Jodhpur fort, and this is the picture of Gwalior fort, which was constructed by the Rajput kings. They built palaces in Jaipur, Gwalior and Udaipur. Have a look at a Jaipur palace. This is Gwalior palace built by Rajputs. And this is Udaipur palace built by the Rajput kings. Dilwar temple, Vimla temple and Lunawasai temple were built on Mount Abu. All these are beautiful and known for the artistic architecture. The Chandelas built Kandaraya's temple in Khajuraho. Children, just have a look at the temples here. They also encouraged the Rajput kings also encouraged painting. The painting style of this period is classified as Rajasthani painting style and Pahari painting style. Look at the beautiful paintings here. Rajasthani painting style can be seen in Mewar, Bikaner, Jodhpur, Jaisalmer and Boni. And Pahari painting style can be seen in Khasoli, Jammu and Garhwal. So, like this, Rajputs have a special place in the history of India. Now, let's discuss the arrival of Turks. By defeating the small kingdoms of Rajput kings, Turks built their empire in the subsequent years. The establishment of Turks' rule, whose religion was Islam, was not completely unexpected in India. Arabs had made failed attempts to capture Sindh region from the beginning of 8th century. Still, Sindh region was always under the constant threat of Turks' attack. Turks belong to a nomadic tribe of Mongolia, a part of Central Asia who had accepted Islam religion. Alptejin, who belonged to this tribe, established his independent state in 1963 century in Ghazni, region in the region of Afghanistan. The battles between Turks and Rajputs started from this period only. Muhammad Ghazni. Muhammad Ghazni was born in 971 CE. Muhammad Ghazni was born in 971 century. His father name was Sabaktigin. He belonged to Ghazni Empire. He invaded India for 7. Finally, he died in 1030th century. Muhammad Ghazni. Ghazni ascended the throne after the death of Alptigin in 999 CE. Muhammad invaded India for 17 times. The famous Somnath temple and the temple of Saurashtra were destroyed during his invasions only. Though all the Rajput kingdoms of the western India were destroyed by these invasions, they failed to face Turks with unity. Okay, so Muhammad succeeded in his inventions due to the political and military weakness of the Rajputs. As see, Rajputs, though they were strong and brave, but there was no unity among the Rajput kings. So always the Rajputs fought among themselves. So there was a lack of unity among the Rajputs, and this was the plus point for Muhammad Ghazni inventions. Apart from that, the political and the military, there were political weakness and the military weakness in the administration of Rajputs. So in all these contributed towards the success of Muhammad Ghazni in invading India. Okay. Muhammad invaded 17 times and carried away a large amount of golden ornaments and wealth to Ghazni. In other words, he looted and carried away a large amount of golden ornaments and wealth to Ghazni. Though he did not build empire in India, though he looted everything and took a lot of golden ornaments and wealth, he did not establish his empire in India. His inventions showed the way to future Turk inventions into. Coming to next, Muhammad Ghori. Muhammad Ghori was born in 1149 CE. His father name was Bahal al-Din Sam Empire. He belonged to Ghor Empire. Okay. He established Turk rule in India and finally he died in 1206 CE. Muhammad Ghori, a Turk dynasty of Shanshbani of Ghor region of Afghanistan, came to prominence and ended the rule of Ghazni dynasty. Ghiyasuddin Muhammad Ghor of this dynasty ascended the throne. He sent his younger brother Mujahiddin Muhammad to establish Turk rule in India. Okay, he is called as Muhammad Ghori by historians. What he is called? He is called as Muhammad Ghori by historians in India. Okay, Muhammad Ghori started his first invention by seizing Multan. He wanted to recapture the places of Sindh that were under the rule of Muhammad Ghazni. So now what happened? He wanted to recapture. He wanted to recapture all the places of Sindh which were under the rule of Muhammad Ghazni. He invaded Anilwada of Gujarat and he was defeated there. This defeat made Muhammad to change his plan and he attacked Peshawar and conquered it. Of Lahore surrendered to him. Okay, then by keeping Lahore as his center, Muhammad attacked the plains of India. This attack was naturally opposed by the ruler of Delhi. That is, who was the ruler? It was opposed by Prithviraj Chauhan. Prithviraj Chauhan. He was opposed by Prithviraj Chauhan III. He defeated Muhammad at Tehran in 1191 C. Now see here, Muhammad Ghori, he kept Lahore as his center and he attacked the plains of India. And this attack was opposed or resisted by Prithviraj Chauhan. So here Prithviraj Chauhan defeated Muhammad Ghori at the Battle of Tehran in 1191 CE. Muhammad, after defeating from Prithviraj Chauhan, Muhammad returned to Ghor and again faced Prithviraj Chauhan at Tehran in 1192 CE. That is, the very next year again Muhammad Ghori faced Prithviraj Chauhan in the same place where he was defeated. Okay, so Govinda Rao and Bola, who were instrumental in the Rajput victory during first Tehran battle, were killed. So in the second battle of Tehran, what happened? Govinda Rao and Bola, who were the main people in the Rajput victory during the first Tehran battle, they were killed in this second battle of Tehran. Then Prithviraj imprisoned. Muhammad, after that, Muhammad appointed his slaves to take care of the areas won by him in India. So when he defeated Prithviraj Chauhan in the second battle of Tehran, Muhammad appointed his slaves to take care of the areas which he had won in India. So he got further. While on his way back to Ghori, Muhammad Ghori was murdered. The victory of Muhammad Ghori had many major political implications. The political system consisting of small kingdoms were vanished. See, after that what happened? The political system consisting of small kingdoms were vanished. A centralized rule of sultan had complete power at Delhi came into existence. So, what type of administration came here? A centralized power came into existence. Centralized power means the complete administration powers were in the hands of the Sultan. As a result, what happened? The entire northern India came under one rule. That is, after Harsha, the entire northern India came under one rule, that is under the rule of Sultan. Okay. The system of administration was totally different from the system of Rajput administration. The Sultan had the absolute power of either appointing or dismissing all the officials. The military administration was also clearly unlike the previous one. Soldiers were directly by the sultans. Soldiers remained loyal directly to the sultan himself. With the establishment of the rule of sultan, India got reconnected with the outer world, which had remained cut off from 8th century onwards. Okay, dear students, now we shall wind up the session here. In the next session, we shall discuss the Delhi Sultans. Thank you and have a good day.